Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and welcome to another session of the Life on Fire Virtual Summit. I'm super excited because we've got a real good friend of mine and absolute expert in Instagram. Her name is Sue B. Zimmerman, and what's up, Sue?
Hey, hashtag awesome, baby.
Hashtagging it up over there. So this is going to be great because from being in the industry for a few years, you always see these ebbs and flows, and you see, it's kind of like when I first started studying internet marketing, you saw that Google, AdWords were huge, and that was the big trend, and then of course getting ranked on Google, and then you saw, of course, Facebook came onto the scene, and that's been the place to advertise and market. Well, Instagram, what's crazy is that, I mean, that's where Generation Y, that's where lots and lots of people are finding it's more enjoyable. And I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at the newsfeed on Facebook or I'm looking at the feed on Instagram, I'm just way more attracted to wanting to go on Instagram than on Facebook, even though I'm a Facebook guy. So we can clearly see that this is a real trend. This is certainly not a fad. And what I love is that Sue's going to be coming on to share with us how to monetize Instagram. And, as a business owner, if we want to have a life on fire, we've got to create that leverage in our business. We've got to, do what works for us, and and if you can leverage Instagram to grow followers, build your brand, and then also do that to actually grow revenues, that is an awesome, awesome thing to do. So I certainly don't want to take Sue's thunder on that. She's got an awesome presentation that she's going to be delivering for you. And I just want to say that, I've gotten to know Sue really well over the past, I don't know, 6 or 8 months, and
Yeah.
maybe even close to a year, and so we've been hanging out, and she's got it. I mean, she's got a strategy that works, and she's been all over Creative Live and just all over and having speaking engagements, literally all over the country, and it's been so much fun just to see her meteoric rise in the industry. And what I love is that she's got just such a good intentions, and why she's doing this. And I think that if you really focus in on this session, you're going to learn some skills, and you're going to learn how to work Instagram the right way to build up that base. And I think it's going to be something that you're going to find really valuable for your business. So definitely perk up in your chair and get ready for Sue Zim to rock it out. So
Thanks so much, Nick. I appreciate that. Before I jump into the presentation, I do want to just say right here, because you said something that really resonates for me. So much of the success that I've had on Instagram has been by building a authentic community, and that's exactly what you do, and that's one of the reasons I'm so attracted to who you are and the community that you serve. Because on Instagram, if you approach this as a place where you can truly show who you are visually, whether it's by videos or by posting photos, you will attract your ideal follower, and you will build a community that becomes raving fans. So I'm really excited to give this presentation. I did it just for this audience, and I'm just jazzed. So let's get into it, because I know that there's so much to share here.
I love it. I love it, and you guys can probably see, you saw behind Sue, she's got those different signs, and so Sue, I just want to thank you for making the Life on Fire sign. We did have it at our event that we recently had, and we got a lot of comments on it. So it's just a hashtag Life on Fire sign, and it's cool. I mean, it's something unique that I see Sue doing at different events and bringing the signs, and it's one of these things where it's like, how can you differentiate? How can you stand out in a busy crowd? And so that's what Sue's been doing, and that's what Instagram has been helping her do too. So I'm gonna turn it over to Sue, and we got a nice little slide share going on.
Yeah.
Oh, looks good.
Yeah, so glad that you mentioned those signs, because you are absolutely right. Standing out in this noisy world is not easy, and those hashtag signs come with me wherever I go, because we always bring on the energy when we're taking pictures with them.
I love it.
So I want to start with this slide, and anyone that's listening who can kind of sort of multitask as I can, I would love you to be taking screenshots of anything that resonates for you. You can share it on Twitter, post it on Facebook, but of course my favorite platform is Instagram. You can find me there at Sue B. Zimmerman, or at one of my many featured accounts at the Instagram Expert. And I really love this post. It got a ton of engagement for me over on Instagram, because it's all about, being a little vulnerable out there when you're posting pictures, especially of yourself. Like, is somebody going to like it? And is somebody going to comment on it? And just like teenagers, adults too have a hard time showcasing who they are. But I really believe the more that you show yourself, what you're passionate about, and your gifts to the world on Instagram, you will attract your ideal follower. And I did just that when I met Nick, right? Nick, let me just remember where we first met. Gosh, how did we first meet, Nick?
I know. It must have been at an event, and then we were in Maine together. I think it might have been online. I think it might have been online.
Yeah, through somebody else. Anyway, I want to start here because a lot of you listening probably have no idea who I am. I am a passionate entrepreneur, and I always have been. Like Nick, I had that life on fire when I was just 13 years old when I had my first business, and I've had 18 businesses since, all successful in their own rights, and not always success being measured by money for me. It's being measured by that work-life balance. And as you can see in this picture in the top left-hand corner are my teenage twin daughters, and because of them, I am on Instagram. I am now teaching Instagram to the world, and they were on it over, like 2 years ago. I was watching their behavior because I always say watch the teenagers. They dictate trends with fashion and mobile, and so I was teaching social media, but I wasn't really on Instagram. And I saw that they were scrolling on their phone, not just looking, not just talking, but scrolling. And when I asked them what they were doing, they were like, okay, Mom, don't you dare get on Instagram because then you are going to be teaching it. And this is how you, like, piss off your teenagers, right? So I got on it because I really wanted to use it for my store. Bottom right-hand corner, I am like a lot of you. I have a small business, a retail store on Cape Cod called Subidoo, and I've had it for 6 years now, and I'm always looking for ways to drive traffic in the door at my store. So I got on Instagram, and my sales increased 40%, which is a huge number for any retailer or any business for that matter. And so I realized that I had to teach what I was learning to the world if I could. I attended Brendan Bouchard's Experts Academy. I left there after 4 days saying, I am going to teach Instagram. I put my phone in the tree in the woods, and I declared it on YouTube. You can go watch that video. It's kind of funny to look at now. But this has been 2 years later, and I have been living, eating, breathing in the Instagram app, teaching on stage, as Nick had mentioned, on Creative Live. I now have 2 best-selling courses in the space of Instagram there. And I've been speaking on stages like Social Media Examiner, Social Media Camp, and a multiple of other stages. And here you see Nick and I, we were outside doing a little interview at Agents of Change, and then we have Gary on the right rocking the hashtag signs that Nick mentioned earlier. And I really believe that, like Nick, when you passionately kind of step into a place that feels so right where you are changing lives and helping other people become successful, that is success. And that's like no other success I've had in my life. I've always been able to make money, but helping others make money and do what they love is just priceless. And I know that Nick and I share this same attitude with our businesses. So I'm just thrilled to be here and really teach you Instagram for business, or at least get you going and thinking about how you can use it for your business, because I know that there are so many choices out there, especially with social media. But today I want to focus on why it's such an essential component to your online marketing strategy, or why it should be, and how to build a strategy that really will work for your business and make social media more fun, right? Because if you're not having fun, you really shouldn't be doing it. I really think that social media isn't something that you have to do. It's something that you should want to do because it's a way to engage with your target audience. And I want you to stay to the very end of this because I love to over-deliver, and I have for Nick's audience a hashtag Subi Ninja tip that you've got to stay tuned for. So you can be using the hashtag InstaGalLive. I'm at Subi Zimmerman on Twitter as well as Instagram. So first I want to start this out with some Insta success stories because I want to share with you some of these accounts that I have worked with that have experienced great success, and I want to explain to you why they are experiencing such great success. So for those of you that are health foodies out there, you're going to really love this account, and you're going to feel like just by going into Simple Green Smoothies Instagram account is worth its weight in gold for watching this, because Simple Green Smoothies does such a great job at delivering value in every single post. Not only is the food delicious and nutritious, but it's beautiful to look at. And what they do such a great job at is always having eye-catching photos and very hyper-focused content. They give value with recipes in every single description. They don't just post a photo, they literally write out the recipe, and it's that value that has helped them get to 339,000 followers. Now, I want to share with you all that over a year ago when I interviewed Jada, and that interview is over on YouTube, they had 130,000 followers, which, by the way, is a huge number as well. But in a year, they've more than doubled their account. And I really believe that it's all because of the content is so succinct with the brand, and that value piece that is so important to be delivering on Instagram happens in every single post. So check them out, and you will be so thankful, especially if you like drinking green smoothies like I do. Nick, do you drink green smoothies?
Oh yeah, I had one this morning, and that's the only way I start my day.
Okay.
Only way.
Okay, so I don't know if you know about this account, but you're going to be like, holy moly, now I know where to go to get that recipe every day.
And I haven't checked them out. So I mean, I've just been doing our own like recipes and stuff, and I've even been putting in like instant coffee into some of them, just like a little pick me up. But I will be checking out these simple green smoothies. So good luck.
Yeah, and Jada Selzner was also a speaker at Social Media Examiner on my brand panel, and they're just crushing it. So lots of inspiration there from someone who started a business without a website and grew it to multiple six figures in a year on Instagram. Pretty wild, right? The next account I want to bring to your attention is kind of a boring product. It's tape. It's industrial tape. How do you make tape beautiful, exciting, inviting, and how do you attract your ideal client? Well, you can do text overlay with great third-party apps. You can humanize the brand and celebrate some of the employees that work there, and you can give some tape tips. Echo_tape, and the reason they have that underscore there is because they weren't able to get their name, Echo Tape. Apparently a Canadian band has that name on Instagram, but this is a workaround. There's always a workaround when you want to get a name, and I know that Nick did this with adding TV to Life on Fire. So the underscore kind of delineates their name anyway, so it works for them. So they don't have a lot of followers, as you can see, 301. But what I really want to bring to your attention is that they have been in business over 40 years. They are a $30 million+ company, and they wanted to be a leader in their industry. And knowing that by getting on Instagram, they would be that. Now, their competitors are people like 3M. And so standing out, being different as a smaller tape company was really important. So they put together a strategy with very targeted hashtags, and they put their URL on their site, with their website, where they wanted to drive traffic to their blog, because their blog is really where they give additional value. So they have that in their URL. And what is so exciting to me is, I think 2 weeks ago, Risa, the owner of the company, contacted me and said that a distributor found them on Instagram. I don't remember which hashtag. It might have been hashtag do it yourself or home improvement, but they found them and they became a $100,000 account, and they're buying tape. So their end user is not the consumer like you and me, it's the distributor. So people are searching hashtags that are relevant and looking for content. So if you're not quite sure how to use Instagram for your business, you could, in the very least, start doing some market research. and seeing what other people in your space is doing, and then figure out what your point of difference should be so that you stand out. So definitely check them out. They have a very colorful account, and it's all about tape. So that's pretty cool. And for those of you who are real estate agents, and I know that there's a lot of them out there, in my hometown, Wellesley, Massachusetts, where there's 40,000 people, there are 329 real estate agents. Go figure. And Jill Boudreau is one of those real estate agents in my hometown. In fact, Jill found me on Instagram over a year ago from hashtags. She has a house on the Cape in Chatham, and I have a house in Falmouth Heights. She and I both live in Wellesley. We both have twins, and we had never met each other. And she was looking at hashtags such as geo hashtags, Cape Cod, Wellesley, and she said, my picture and my avatar just kept popping up every time she was checking out some of these hashtags, and she's like, who is this nut rollerblading on the Cape with her dog? I got to get in touch with her, and she lives in my hometown. So we set up a meeting, and she hired me after that meeting within 12 hours to be her business coach, her social media strategist, and she has become over a $70,000 account for me. And she not only is loving Instagram for her personal space, which is her real estate business, but she's also finding it a place of where she's growing a community within the town of Wellesley. So Jill has two accounts. She has her personal account, Jill A. Boudreau, and she has Real Estate Expert. And what Jill does so beautifully on her expert account is she posts a variety of content. She is not constantly telling you the listing and the price of the property that she's selling. Now, mind you, where we live, houses do sell for quite a bit, and Jill shared with me recently, it's very exciting, this picture of her on this, the last one. You can see her running with the text overlay. She was running in the Boston Marathon, which was a big deal, and I said to her, I said, Jill, you have got to post a picture of you as a sweaty mess. And she's like, who wants to see me running? Jill's the kind of person that likes to, you know, look all professional and put together. And she's like, no one's going to want to see a picture of me running. I'm like, Jill, put a picture of you running. I want people to know that you're a marathon runner and that you are passionate about this. She's like, okay, fine. And it's become her most liked post ever. And she acquired 3 new clients from this post who were looking to buy a house in Wellesley, and they really liked what they saw on Instagram when they scrolled through her feed, and they saw not only how professional she was and how great her account looked, but they saw that, you know, she was a mom of 4 kids and she was a marathon runner. And so humanizing her brand made her more real and approachable, other than just this wealthy real estate agent. And Jill shared with me that she has made over $250,000 in commission from those 3 clients that she got from posting that photo. Nick, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's crazy how the amount of action you can get from it. And I think what's cool is, you know, I just, you know, did a live event, and I had a handful of people because we've been using your Instagram strategies, and it was like, there's like, oh, I love what you're doing on Instagram, and you know, and quite frankly, we sold our coaching program there, and it's just cool to be able to track dollars back directly to an Instagram strategy, which I think is awesome. So I love it.
Good, good, good. So you're gonna love this. So if you want success on Instagram, like any other platform, you need to have a strategy. So I thought what I could put together for you guys today was my Subi 7 steps. And believe me, you heard Nick say I taught a Creative Live course. Those courses are me teaching Instagram 6 hours a day for 3 days in a row. So this is me like bringing it home in a quick time for you guys, but really honing in on the key steps. So, so I wanted to just do this on fire for you guys with Nick today. So first step is you need to have a rocking bio. And so when I say that, I mean you need to have You need to invest in that avatar. It has to be a professional photo of you, not a crop photo. It can be a professional logo if it's a logo that you want to promote, but you've got to invest in something. And I always say it's best to use the same photo that you're using over on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, possibly LinkedIn, so people recognize you on Instagram. The more that you are consistent with your photos across multiple social media platforms, the more people will feel connected to you and get to know, like, and trust you. So having a great photo is super important. Also having a username that makes sense. Now, as I said earlier with Echo Tape, there's always a workaround. Michael Port, who I've worked with to help him with his Instagram account, was not able to get his name, so the workaround became I am Michael Port, and that worked out just fine. And so for Nick, as I said earlier, he added TV. My friend Rachel Luna couldn't get her name. She also added TV. You can use underscores and you can use dots to separate your name. My store, Subidoo on the Cape, I couldn't get that, so I added Subidoo.Cape Cod. I brought in the location. So you want to make sure that it's searchable, memorable, and not so long that people don't remember what your username is. You also want to have a succinct, strong description of who you are and what you do, and you only get 150 characters to do that. So you want to use these keywords wisely, and you can absolutely use emojis to hit home with what it is that you do. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And if you have a unique hashtag, like Nick was using like mine is Instagal Live, and Nick, yours is LOF Summit 14, right, for this?
You got it, yep.
Yeah, so if you have a unique hashtag, you absolutely want to include that in your bio, so it reminds people to use that when they're going to post user-generated content, or what it does is it creates a hashtag hub, which I'll be going over in a little bit. And then the last thing that you want to pay attention to is that you have one URL in Instagram. Now, a lot of people are upset about this. They're like, gosh, I wish I could just put links in Instagram. And honestly, I am thrilled that it's one, because it makes people work to get to, the people that work to get to your call to action want to be there. So the quality of traffic that you're driving there is really high quality. And can you imagine, people would be spamming comments all day long on Instagram if they could. And I think so much of the beauty of Instagram is how clean the feed is, and how the comments are curated forever under each post, and that you can go back and read what other people wrote. And the minute people start spamming, I just think it would be a whole mess of a place to be. So I appreciate that it's just one URL. So here's two examples of bios that look good. One, back to Jill with her real estate. This is her personal account. What I like so much about Jill's bio here is that she's letting you know that follow Wellesley Life. Now that's her unique hashtag, and that's her hashtag hub that showcases all the different places and features that Wellesley has as a community to live in, a town to live in. And then she also says, check out her featured account, so she's taking you to her other account, and then she has her website. Avocado Shirt Company is a brand, so great logo here, really easy to see, and they're telling you that their unique hashtag is guac gear, and they're telling you their call to action is join the Cado Club below. So both really good examples of bios that are literally telling you who they are, what they do, and what they want you to do. So a lot of people ask me, do I need a featured account? And a featured account on Instagram is very similar to a business page on Facebook. And so if you're in business, I say absolutely have a featured account. A featured account simply is an account that is very focused on the content that you want to serve. So the Instagram expert account for me is where I share tips, tools, and strategies daily on how to use Instagram to grow your business. Nick has both Nick Uns. He probably couldn't get Nick Unsworth. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm always battling for the handles. A guy in the UK.
Okay, but Nick Unsworth, it works well, I think. And like I said earlier, he added Life on Fire with TV. So And Nick used his logo here, which worked perfectly because it fit well. For all of you that are trying to squeeze your logo into the tiny little avatar, which is smaller than a dime, you need to hire someone to make sure it looks good and the resolution is good so you can actually read it when you see it. So you have to make some adjustments for your logo on Instagram. But for my account, again, the bio, it's listed. I'm telling you tips, tools, and strategies. The Creative Insta-Results, my online course. I talk about Creative Live. I tell you, in this particular instance, I am telling you to go to my webinar to sign up for my free webinar. So depending on where I'm trying to drive traffic, that URL changes. Now, Nick right now obviously has his Life on Fire Summit as where he's directing you guys, and he's telling you to tune into the 25 world-changing entrepreneurs. Again, the emojis, I love the world right there because it just gives you a global sense of what Nick is doing. So is there anything you want to add to this, Nick?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. So I mentioned emojis, and again, this is the opportunity for all you listening. Take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, tag me at Subi Zimmerman, at the Instagram expert, or at Life on Fire TV. Let us know that you saw this in this presentation. Emojis are great. It's a great way to make, to kind of add a little oomph to your visual strategy. And I want to just take a pause here to let all of you know that I have a hashtag hub, Subi Tips, with a T, with a P or an S at the end, that will take you to a lot of different Instagram tips that I share only on Instagram. So you can check out that hashtag hub and go there. And this is just one of those tips. So the second step is you want to post with purpose. What is the emotional feeling that you're trying to have people get when they land or discover your account? So if your account has dogs and what you're eating in the hotel room, and it's all like a jumble of quotes, and it just doesn't make sense, people are going to be confused. You want them to really understand who you are, what you do, and what your goals are as a business on Instagram. And I have to share this quote with you because this is so me. And I took this quote and I did a text overlay in WordSwag, and the reason I wanted to share this is because I got more likes on this post than any other post I've ever done my whole life. So people like to be connected to the person behind the brand, is my point. They also like it when you're smiling. And I just have to read this out loud because I did not create this quote, but if I could create or say any quote, this is it. Your smile is your logo. Your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after having an experience with you becomes your trademark. So take this to heart. This is Jay Danzy's quote. Take this to heart when how you want people to feel when they land on your Instagram account. So for me, I hear people say high energy, nautical, colorful, giving, passionate. And these are just some examples of the types of posts that I make, frequently with other people in them, often by myself with words of wisdom or a quote or some advice. And I couldn't help but share the one on the top left, which is when one of my 18-year-old twins came on stage with me at Creative Live and shared her passion for Instagram and the business that she's growing there. So, I just want you guys to take a pause and think about, what is it about you that's going to make you memorable? And you want to consistently do that. So here are some ideas if you have no idea of what to post and you're stuck. I was on a call this morning with someone that's in the financial service business, and he's like, I don't sell a product. How can I post anything that would work on Instagram? So we kind of dialed down what would work for him based on the value he can give in the words that he can share and the advice that he can give as a financial planner. So some ideas are when you attend events. So some of you attended Nick's live event, Life on Fire. Obviously, perfect example to be sharing that hashtag and becoming part of that hashtag hub and letting people know who you align with, because when you share pictures at events, people see you with the other people at that event, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you know Nick? I know Nick. I can't believe you're learning from the same people I'm learning from. Therefore, we should connect." And then, obviously, inspirational people. Who inspires you? What books do you read? Show those books. Show those authors that are signing the book. Show behind the scenes. Everyone loves behind the scenes. Like, I love seeing, Nick with his big mic, with his monitor queued up before we got on the webinar. It's like, it's so cool to see other people's setup, especially when you're in this online space teaching behind a mic. And then you can always fall back on some themed posts. Throwback Thursday or Wednesday, Women's Crush Wednesday, or Follow Friday. Did you know that WCW was Women's Crush Wednesday, Nick?
No, I had no idea.
Okay, so I didn't either until I looked at my oldest daughter's account, and she had this WCW, and I'm like, what is that? And I was too embarrassed to ask her. And so I searched it on Google, and I'm like, oh, I got it. That's why she just posted a picture of her twin sisters, and she wrote something sweet about them. So that is a hashtag that is widely used on Instagram.
Now, is there a MCM?
Hey, go for it. I think you should do that one.
I mean, because I've got a handful of man crushes, so
okay.
I mean.
So you be looking that up while I'm talking more. and so if you're in business, I am sure you have happy customers or clients. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to me teach Instagram, right? So show them, and if you're not with them, tell them to take a picture and send it to you, or do a 15-second testimonial and send it to you and post it on Instagram. If you're making your customers happy and you are doing your job, they will be honored to share that with the world. And that's exactly what you want. You want other people to be talking about your greatness so that you don't have to. And when other people share the results they get from you and the gifts that you have, it's a beautiful thing. And then, of course, if you have products, that is a no-brainer. Showing your products without being too salesy is obviously fabulous for Instagram. And if you want to check out how I highlight some of my products, subidu.cape Cod, especially if anyone listening creates products, that's a great account to check out. So I wanted to say right now, like, if you don't feel like you have a visual strategy and you're trying to figure out where to start, this is the best little exercise to do. So write down on a piece of paper, or if you're like me, you're mobile, just write it in notes on your phone, the 3 to 4 words that describe you. Or if you don't know, do it in a focus group. Ask your customers or clients, when you think of me, what do you think of? What are those 4 words? In fact, on Instagram today, I did something just like that. I'm just going to look at it quickly. I said, my last post, it said give value, and I wrote a comment, and then I said, what do you see when you look at my post? Name 3 things. And I got 35 comments, which is pretty awesome. And people are saying things like, I see joy and focus, I see authentic, energetic, and knowledgeable, I see someone good with technology, which sometimes is true, passionately giving, caring, joyful, positive vibe, so social butterfly, like it goes on and on. So it's just nice to hear from other people how they perceive you and think of you. And those words might become part of your visual strategy based on, the value that you're giving to other people. And you want to make sure that when you do post pictures or videos that align with those words. Just as I showed you earlier with, my feed and what, how I'm branding myself and the value that I give to my followers. So one of the things that I do frequently is I use third-party apps. There are so many to choose from. I am an iPhone user. However, if you're an Android user, I got you covered. My friend Ian Cleary and I wrote this great article. You can head over to Razor Social, super cool Instagram tools. So we have links to Android apps. This is a snapshot of my iPhone from one of my 4 folders. I keep them all in a folder on my phone so I can quickly access my apps. And these are 9 of my favorite apps. And my most favorite app is WordSwag, the one right in the middle. It's where I do a lot of my text overlays. If any of you saw the image that I did of Nick and I, Life on Fire Virtual Summit, December 10th, that's what I created it in. So step 3 is you want to create a hashtag strategy. Like I always say, the magic is in the hashtags. And Nick's hashtag, if you go look at it on Instagram, hashtag LOF Summit 14, go look at that and look at all the content that's being curated in that hashtag hub, and you can become part of that conversation. And if you don't know some of the people who are there, go in and find them. So a lot of the content that's being curated right now is of the speakers that Nick's showcasing. So that's what you'll see here. The last photo that I highlighted in red is my post, because that was the last one to be posted with that hub. But I think since I've posted that, I looked again and there's a photo after that. So when you use hashtags, you become part of that hashtag conversation. And depending on how popular that hashtag is, it moves really quickly. So Life on Fire Summit 14 is Nick's hashtag, so it's not moving at lightning speed, which I think is kind of a nice thing so that you can get in there and be part of the conversation, versus the word love that the second you type it on Instagram is like 500 deep and you can't even see it. Or if you use Nike thinking that you're using a hashtag to get eyeballs on your posts that has nothing to do with what you do, is not the right strategy to use for hashtags. So some of my unique hashtags that work well for me is when I did my live event, Sail to Your Success Boston on the left, and my Instagal Live is what I always use when I'm doing webinars and I'm teaching on stage. So just so that you guys can get a flavor of a unique hashtag and what it means, head on over to those hashtags and just see how many posts have been made. The one Instagal Live, I have almost 4,000 people uploading to that, because that was my hashtag that was assigned to me when I did my Creative Live course. And if you're feeling like you have a hashtag headache still, know that I've got you covered. I'm doing a hashtag webinar. Here's the bit.ly you guys can check out if you want to tune in and sign up for that, because I know that so many people struggle with their hashtag strategy. So I'm doing an hour-long webinar that I think will help all of you. These are some of my tips that I want to give you. That really, if you can digest these 5 tips, I really think that you can have great success on Instagram. I've mentioned them mostly already, talking about populars versus very specific ones. You want to think about hashtags that your ideal follower will be searching. So depending on your industry, what are the words, the keywords that people are searching for? For me, it's words like Instagram marketing, social media, Instagram webinar, Instagram expert, learn social media, SMM strategies. So you've got to think about what words are people searching so that they find you and use those hashtags in your posts. Now, you can use up to 30 hashtags per post, but I don't say use them all at once. If you have under 500 followers, my rule is use more hashtags than less. Once you have some traction and you've got some followers, you don't need to put those hashtags in the comments, and I want you to put them in the secondary comments, not the initial description. The only hashtag that should really be in that initial description post is a unique hashtag. And the reason I want you to put them in the comments is because you can delete them and refresh them. And you can do this. I have my hashtags in notes on my phone. I also have them in Evernote, and I have them in categories depending on what kind of posts that I'm making. So I can easily copy and paste them, and I'm not worrying if I'm going to spell them right every time I type. So you can put those in the secondary comments and then delete them and refresh them. Now, I have a YouTube video that I have a playlist on how-tos on YouTube, and there's one that will show you how to delete and refresh your hashtags. It used to be that you could refresh your hashtags with the same hashtags and appear at the top of that hashtag hub, but Instagram got smart and said, no, 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 no. If you're going to be refreshing hashtags, like, let's be fair, and now you need to use new ones. So this is why I say have them in 5 groups of 6 and refresh them 5 times, because remember, you get 30 per post. So you can go back to posts that are a month or 2 months or 3 months old and actually refresh them with new hashtags that might get new eyeballs on your post based on the keywords that you're using. Another thing that really is helpful for those of you that are starting out and still don't get this hashtag on Instagram, check out what your competitors are using and see if they would work well for you as well. I mean, you can go in to brands that you respect and that you learn from and see what's working. And when I say what's working, it means what are the ones getting engagement, not just likes but comments as well, because it's really important to get those comments. And step 4 of the 7 steps to success is engagement. Now, I cannot hit home with this harder than this is probably the most important step. When you engage, meaning write a comment on other people's posts, they will then come back to you and write a comment on your post. It's super easy to just like a photo, but engaging and leaving a comment why they entertained you or educated you or made you laugh or made you cry is so important, because people want to know that the value that they're putting out on Instagram is what you want to see. So if you are getting value, let them know that. Now, Nick, you might find this looking familiar, this pyramid. Remember, Pat Flynn did this affinity pyramid at Agents of Change, and I looked at that and all my light bulbs went out. Like, I love the pyramid, and I thought, how can I create a graphic similar that would work for Instagram? So kudos to Pat Flynn. I want to give him credit for my brain kind of taking all that that pyramid and recreating it for all of you. So at the very bottom of the pyramid, it's the double tap. That's the easiest thing to do. That's what all the teenagers do. They just scroll, double tap, and they care just about the like. The likes are good. The likes get more eyeballs on your post. Absolutely. But you know what? I just told you, leave a comment. Going up the pyramid, the next form of a compliment is when someone reposts your content. They like it so much that they want to share it with their followers. So that's pretty flattering. And there's a lot of repost apps out there. They're all free. I like Repost Wiz. I like it because it shows the avatar photo in the repost. It gives credit to not only the person, but you can see their photo. So that's why I like it. And I've used a lot of them. So I say if you see something that you want to share, don't take a screenshot, repost it, and give credit to the content creator. Always give credit to the content creator. And if you're going to take a screenshot and then put text overlay, tag them and give them credit in the description, thanking them for the photo. It's so important, because what will happen then is some of their followers might come over and start liking what you're showing, but the content creator will absolutely get a notification that you tag them, come over, and you might just get another follower because you're sharing that great content. So going up the pyramid, the yellow is growing a hashtag hub. And this, my friends, is the most exciting part of Instagram. One of the most exciting parts for me is I grew an insanely active community. We are so connected. People are tagging and posting and sharing and messaging and sending direct messages, and it's so exciting that this community is all connected on Instagram, and my hashtag InstaGalLive is my most active community. And I have a couple others, but that's the one that I'm just most proud of, because there's thousands of people there, and it's really cool. And then at the very top, as Pat said during his presentation, it's the raving fans, the people who love you, who will always have your back and be there for you. And if someone's writing something that just isn't cool or isn't aligning with the way you're teaching it, they're going to call them out on it and say something and reference you. And it's really cool to see when you've got tagged on someone's post, or they want your eyes on it because they know that you can give value. So that's my pyramid. Take a screenshot, share that on Instagram, and you want to strive to get those raving fans. So let's talk about step 5. So, you know, on Instagram, you want to tell your existing audience, on other platforms that you're on Instagram. So if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Pinterest, you want to make sure that you let people know that you're on Instagram so that they can come over and start following you. And on my website, these are my buttons, and when you scroll over them, they turn red. So I'm showing you that the Instagram is red, and it takes you right over to the Instagram expert account. I really want that to be the account where I lead people from my website, because that's my business account. And that's the one where I give value every day, as opposed to my Subi Zimmerman, where I share some personal insights there as well. And on Instagram, when you share, your post can be, you can share out to Facebook and you can share out to Twitter. You can also share to Foursquare and Tumblr, but I just want to focus on Facebook and Twitter, because I want you to understand that on Facebook, when you share, you can choose which page you share to. So if you have multiple Facebook pages, you can share to that particular page where you want to drive the post to, or you can share it to your personal page. Now, what happens when you share it over to Facebook, you will see this little blue hyperlink, view on Instagram. So if I were to click that from Facebook, it would take people back to Instagram. So a lot of followers on Facebook might not know that you're on Instagram, and this is a great way to grow your following on Instagram from Facebook. And then the really cool thing is that the conversation continues on Facebook. It starts on Instagram and it continues on Facebook, and some people jump in and start commenting about your posts. Now, the same is true for Twitter. When you share over to Twitter, the difference is on Twitter, it shares as a link, not as an image. But you can use an amazing tool called If This Then That, so that when you share your image on Instagram, it does show up as an image on Twitter, and it takes up that real estate in the Twitter feed. But again, if you're trying to grow your Instagram following, you want to share it to Twitter. I do not recommend sharing every post to Facebook and Twitter. I recommend selectively choosing what you're sharing over, because you want to keep some, I believe that you should have some things on Instagram that are the reason that people keep coming back for more of the value that you're giving there. Now, step 6 is sending a direct message. Now, a lot of people don't even know that you can send a direct message on Instagram. This is one of my very favorite features of Instagram. You can send a message to one person at a time, or to a group of up to 15 people in one post. So this is a really great way to engage with people who are valuable followers. Let me just quickly show you what it looks like, the anatomy of what it looks like, and then I'm going to tell you some strategies that you can use for direct messaging. So when you open up Instagram and you share a photo, usually you share it to your followers, but if you click on direct, it turns green, and then you can click on the amount of people that you want to share it to. So I am sending this to 15 people, and you can see it at the bottom of the slide, send to 15 people. Now, what I'm sending them is a text message. I grow my email list every single day on Instagram. Yes, I do, like 20 people. It's magical. I send a direct message. I give them a autoresponder to type in a number, and they get a download from me. So I sent this to 15 people at a time, and I have someone help me with this because it moves quickly for me, like my new followers. But once I've sent it, on the right-hand side, you can see that that's what it looks like when it has been sent. And then you can see all the direct messages under there as well. So when it comes in your inbox and you have a direct message, it's really exciting. It's like, you've got mail, happy Valentine's Day, except the number is orange. So it's orange, I believe, because it's such a high energy color, and no other notification on social media is orange other than on Instagram. So this shows up when you click on your home button on your screen. You see the filing box, and if you have an orange, it means you have a direct message. So you want to click on that. Once you do, you will see there's that one pending request. So go to number 1, and if you look at the bottom, it comes in, it says one pending request. You click on that, and then you have to either accept it or you can exit out. If you're feeling like someone's spamming you and you don't want to look at it, you can just delete it. But if you accept it, then it goes into the third one, which is a gray image, and then you just need to click it to actually see that direct message. So what are some things that you can put in direct messages? Well, as you can imagine, Nick, when I was selling tickets to my live event, which, by the way, was not easy. You warned me. I know. I decided to selectively choose who I wanted to have in the room. And so I sent direct messages one at a time because I didn't want to do 15 people at a time because I wanted each person to feel special and that I was inviting them. And it really worked well, Nick. I got the last 20 seats filled this way. I gave a $100 off discount, or half off. Yes, half off. My tickets were $397, so that was pretty substantial. And I was able to fill the room by doing an exclusive offer. So think about what you can send as a discount or a coupon if you're trying to get people to purchase something from you. Another strategy that I really want to bring to everyone's attention is you can get the attention of a big brand that you normally can't get on Twitter, Facebook, or via email. So Iconosquare is the tool that you can look at all your stats on Instagram. It's a web-based tool where you can look at your data. And I really wanted to feature them on my Creative Live course. They're in France, and it was taking us a while to go back and forth. So I left a comment on their public feed, and then they sent me the comment on the left. It was just a square. That was the direct message they sent me, and then they wrote, "We saw your Instagram comment and would like to know more about it. Contact me, Anthony, at Iconosquare." So Anthony and I subsequently had a Skype call. Unfortunately, they had a conference during my Creative Live course, so they couldn't be a part of it. But I know now that if I ever need anything from Iconosquare, that they would absolutely help me out and be a part of something else that I might be doing. So that was really cool, reaching a big brand. This probably is my very favorite thing that I did. Nick, check this out. So I, as you know, launched my course, Insta-Results, and I wanted to get testimonials, as we all do, for Instagram, and I wanted to get them from online experts, all who I've met in person. So I sent this direct message to Martin Shervington, Chris Brogan, Brian Kramer, Viveka Von Rosen, Ted Rubin, and Joel Comm. So what I want to point out here is that when you see the blue bubble, that means that they read the direct message and responded. When you see that it's green, it means that they read it, and when it's faded, it means that they did not read it. So Joel Comm probably has no idea how to use direct messaging, but he will soon because I'm going to make sure of it. But what happened next, Nick, was really cool. Chris Brogan not only saw it in the 3 minutes after I sent it, he wrote me a testimonial back in Instagram via direct message. Now, let me just take a pause here. If I had sent Chris an email, I'm sure it would have got lost in all of his emails. Twitter, I don't even know if he would have responded, but Chris and I share a lot of comments back and forth on Instagram, so I was really happy to get this testimonial, and then Martin sent me one as well. So this was a really cool way to ask for something, they delivered, so that was cool. I really like that strategy.
That's cool. I love it, and I think that a lot of people don't really totally understand direct messaging, and so Sue, just as a time check, we've got 3 minutes to wrap up, so I just want to make sure that I give you a heads up, and I want you definitely to share with people. I think that they now know how to connect with you on Instagram, but I want to make sure that they also know how to get in touch with you for any freebie offers that you have and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that slide's coming real soon. So let me buzz through this. Okay, so thanks for that heads up, and I'm gonna rock and roll through this. Here's another strategy. I talked about it earlier, where you can send a autoresponder with a phone number and just give them a PDF so that you can grow your email list. And you really want to make sure you lead people to where you want to do business with them. You want to tell them in your bio, and you want to tell them on your post. And when you do, you want to make sure that it's going to be mobile friendly. Now, you can change out that URL at any time. I change it to a podcast interview or a product or my YouTube channel or an opt-in page, as I mentioned earlier. And like I said, you want to make sure that that experience is a good one when they click the link. So make sure it's mobile friendly. I know that Gary Hicksman is a good friend of yours and talks all about mobile friendly experiences, and you want to make sure that when people click your link that they're going to have a good one. Right, Nick?
Absolutely. You got it.
Yeah, so this is summarizing everything I went over, which I'm not going to read to you. You guys can all take a screenshot. Just know that that is the summary because I want to get to the goodies here. But these are the 7 steps to Insta success. And the ninja tip, I want to go over this really quickly. In your username, you can have you have 30 characters to write who you are. So if you look at all of these strategies, I wrote Instagram expert and my name. Nick put Nick Uns, and then he put Nick Kick-Ass Business Coach. Life on Fire was with the podcast. Fresh, Fit, and Fearless does healthy living, and Michael Port put his website. So you have the opportunity to actually do a little bit more in your bio with what you want your username to be. It's a great place to give added value. So for all of you today, I want you to make sure you grab this bit.ly, this 5 hashtag tips. You see it, Nick?
I do. And look at that, hashtagging it up myself over there.
Yeah, you were hashtagging. That's when we did our other interview. So I grabbed
Yep.
that screenshot of you. I said, Nick, you got to give me the hashtag symbol. So I'm glad I asked you for that.
Nice.
So grab this today. I'm sure it will help you all if you're struggling with your hashtag strategies. I really want you to know that the fear of missing out is a huge reason why you should be on Instagram, because if you don't get on Instagram, you are missing out in so many opportunities to connect with your ideal follower, customer, and make money doing what you love. So I'm just going to have this slide up here. I don't know why there is an X there, but that's kind of cool. X marks the spot. So Nick, that concludes the presentation. Are we good with time?
Yeah, I love it, and I just want to say just a huge thank you. I know that you are a busy Insta gal, and and it's awesome. I think that I've got 2 pages of notes. There's things that I did not realize and picked up on, and I just love that. This is a way to build up your brand. This is a way to build up your followers, build up, email opt-ins and traffic and sales, and you really brought all that to light. So a huge thank you for myself and then everyone that's part of the Life on Fire Virtual Summit, because I know that they are just totally going to love this. So thank you, Sue. And then, guys, just make sure that you take action on this. If you really resonate with this strategy, just dive right in and just get into action and try it, because now that you learn the strategy, the next best thing you can do is try and go forward and implement, and make sure that you grab those additional 5 tips that Sue has on the link that we just had on the screen before. So you guys have a rockin' rest of your day, and we'll see you all very soon on the next Life on Fire Virtual Summit episode. See you guys soon. Cheers, Sue.
Hey, see you later.
See ya.